Sun is shining in the sky, I've got a cup of tea. Let's go retro game hunting, shall we? Now, you guys are aware that I'm trying to go for a full N64 PAL list, and I'm making great strides. The strides are getting smaller and smaller as we're going along, as I'm actively recording stuff, as we build up the massive amount of sports ones, but we're nearly at a milestone, and I picked up one of the best N64 games of all time. Unboxed, but it's one that I'm quite happy to not have boxed, and that title was WCW Mayhem. Nah, it was WCW NWO Revenge. I also picked up WCW Mayhem. Now, wrestling games are one of those things that are very much of the era. I very much got into wrestling towards the end of the Attitude Era, so titles such as WWF No Mercy are very high on my all-time favourite lists. Not so much WCW NWO Revenge, and the only reason being is because, well, I just never watched WCW. By the time I got into wrestling, WCW has been bought out by WWF, and yes, I got into WWF as the alliance started and the whole invasion angle, so I'm aware of some of the guys basically through that. But this one is absolutely beloved. This one is a very beloved N64 title that often makes top 10 lists, and I think it very much comes down to if you were WCW or WWF at the time, because it's either this or No Mercy. They are developed by the same developers, and yeah, like we kind of saw a lot of the stuff where they kind of jump ship and stuff like that. We were like, oh, there's Lance Storm, oh, there's DDP, there's Taz, there's all these guys from these other companies who were jumping into WWF as the other companies were starting to go down. The developers went from doing WCW and went to WWF, which is fine, because at the end of the day, we got WWF WrestleMania 2000 and we got WWF No Mercy, along with what people see is an excellent title. After that, other developers picked up and we got WCW Mayhem, which is a title that I do have a little bit more nostalgia for on the PlayStation 1. The N64 one, I've never touched, and if I'm honest, I'm going to try this one out. This one, I'm probably not. Like I said, I don't have the nostalgia, but these are titles that I needed in my collection, and this one, honestly, if this one was one that I'd get in one game later, I probably would have tried to get in a box. And the reason being is that these titles are number 148 and number 149. That's right. The next titles we're looking at trying to get is number 150. And I know you guys are saying to me, it needs to be something special. And there's a title that I never picked up as a kid. There's a title that is a big deal on the N64. It's a sports title, but it's a Mario sports title. The game I want to get for number 150 has to be on the caliber of Mario Golf. I don't own it. I want to own it. It's one that I'm actively searching out for a good boxed copy. Apart from that, we do have a lot of still great titles I still need to pick up. Quake 2, Star Wars Episode 1 Pod Racing, Light Wars. I want Light Wars to be the final title. I really want that one to be the final notch. The last huzzah, because it's a great game. I just somehow haven't owned it. Another title that I picked up, which I actually did have to ask for behind the counter because I was aware that this game was in stock. And yeah, this one's an interesting one because this is a port, a Game Boy Color port of not one, but two beloved franchises. And that title is Micro Machines 1 and 2 Twin Turbo on the Game Boy Color. Now, this isn't necessarily an expensive one. I did look on later on and saw that I could have probably gotten a decently boxed copy for around £15 more. But you know what? I was in the area. It was relatively cheap, and when I say relatively cheap, I think it was about £5 at the time. So you know what? It was another little extra thing. I spent the money coming down. I spent the money for parking. I was just like, I'm going to make this trip a little bit better. And you know what? This is a really nice version of Micro Machines. I think it's a lot more difficult, but that might just be me. I've been playing it on my Game Boy Color, and honestly, I've been having a really good time with it. So it is Micro Machines, and you guys into your retro sphere are probably very much aware of these fantastic titles on the Mega Drive and the Super Nintendo. And this title about small itty bitty cars has been shrunk into an itty bitty Game Boy Color one, and it is a decent port. You don't have the option between Micro Machines 1 and 2. You're basically, all of the courses are kind of just meshed together. You championship, you just race on the different tracks to unlock different mini tiny cars. I found this one a lot more difficult than the Super Nintendo one, but I still had a great time nonetheless. It's definitely one that I think if you are going for a Game Boy collection, definitely pick this one up, because honestly, it's one that I didn't even know existed, and it's one that, yeah, is worth your time. Another console that I have been buying for over the years is GameCube, and at one point I had a lot of the more expensive ones. Fire Emblem, Skies of Arcadia, Pokemon. We'll get to that one when we cover GameCube, but I kind of stopped buying GameCube, and when I was in that CEX, I saw a game that I have a weird nostalgia for. A game that I've never played, a game that is by all means absolutely appalling, and a game I want to get for the Game Boy Advance collection. Zoo Cube. Now, why Zoo Cube? And yeah, this is not a great game. This is a puzzle game that released on the GameCube and the Game Boy Advance. You basically have a cube, and there are little symbols falling down towards the GameCube, and you can rotate the cube and match 3 in a row to release the animals. It's not a great title, but it's a fun one that I think I would enjoy a little bit more on the Game Boy Advance. Why do I have nostalgia for this? The reason being, this game was in just about every single game store when I was growing up. I would often weekly go to Game, Electronics Boutique, Game Station, Granger Games, and see this game sitting on the shelves for $9.99. I don't know what it was. I never had any interest in picking up, but I don't know what it was. It kind of always interested me. It was a game that always interested me. I don't know what it was. I mean, the cover of this tells you nothing. It's Zoo Cube. It's got a cube. Puzzled? Yeah, I'm puzzled because I don't know what this game is about. And yeah, it wasn't well received at the time, but for £3, when I'm already out buying retro games, I mean, I could try and go for a GameCube collection. GameCube is a games console that is very beloved to me, and if I'm going for a Game Boy Advance, there is a lot of crossover. And I just saw this, and something inside me was just like, buy it. I mean, it's complete. It's got all of the inserts and stuff like that. It was £3. I can't see it better than that. And for somebody who does really like GameCube and likes a lot of the weird little oddities and has a weird, strange affinity to some of these games, it was a no-brainer. £3, I can't complain. But yeah, a decent haul from a place that I haven't been to in a long time. I'm absolutely chuffed to fill out my N64 collection with two titles that, well, I really was hoping to pick up. And Zoo Cube, it's a weird one, but hey, if I'm going to start collecting GameCube games again, it's one that I was going to eventually end up picking up. And you know what, I'm really happy to have a nice good afternoon playing Micro Machines 1 and 2 on the Game Boy Color. And that's what I love about retro game collecting, finding all of those games that you didn't even know existed and just firing up, having a nice little afternoon with a nice cup of tea and playing them. What have you guys been picking up? And if this is stuff that you like, let me know in the comments. Make sure you're subscribed. Oh, we've got some interesting experiences, adventures, quests coming up. Have a nice one. See you next time. Goodbye.